after the weekend's result, it's been quite a tough couple of days, quite an honest few sessions with the players.
Yeah, it was a pretty desperate performance and a real low for us, and it's something we've got to front up to. Coaches, players alike, we've had to go through a few things, and trying to work our way through it. It's coming off the back of Edinburgh, and it got a bit disjointed around some of the Anglo-Welsh, but certainly after what we said was a reasonable working week, you can't put that on the field, and we've had to examine areas of our game where it's multifaceted. You think there might be a few simple messages that players can latch on to, but you second guess yourself around sort of how you want to push the decision making, and there's a lot of variables go into how to make our game effective. And then for us is actually asking, well, is there too many variables? Have you got to strip it back? And at some point, we've got to just become a side that's hard to beat again, as an Osprey side should be. We had anything but on the weekend, but that's the challenge for us to do so against obviously one of the best away from home this weekend. I realise I've said that about our game previously this year, but at some point we've got to act on that.
What is it? Can you put your finger on what's gone wrong the last few weeks? Because you've had so much success the last few years. Can you put your finger on what's gone wrong?
Not one thing per se, but you look at confidence, which it does chip away. Regardless of who you are and the history you've got, the perceived calibre of players you've got, it does chip away in terms of you week on week. But as I said, there's aspects that we coach about trying to we're always trying to manipulate defenders, trying to create a game that's structured but has got clear choices around the decision making you make, but we're not making effective decisions. So then, as I said, you've got to strip it back to what's going to work around the players you've got. We've obviously I'm trying to work around trying to get more gain line efficient at times, and there's crumbs of comfort that after 7 phases up to last weekend we're the team that scored the most tries in the league, but that's me glossing over early in phase play. We don't get enough momentum, then we're trying to force things from a position where we're poor of detail in terms of where our running line should be, and also struggling with confidence. So it's a bad mixture for what we're trying to play, and I've got to acknowledge that the players have been in amongst that in terms of how we review and how we actually work our way through it, so that our phase play from first phase, which again traditionally has been a strength of ours, is too easy for sides to read what we're going to do, in terms of us going off the top, trying to then adapt a driving game, and having the best of both, but we're not doing either.
You said it's been a low. One of your first answers, again, you and Steve have had some success during your years. Is this the hardest time you've known since you've been with the Ospreys?
Yeah, it is. In terms of putting something out there which I'd argue doesn't reflect how resourceful and a sort of challenging period for Welsh rugby what we've tried to put together around. I've had seasons where we've had no wings, no centres. You're always trying to patch up, do this, that and the other around the tactical balance of the game, developing the skill work with the players, which in certain seasons has gone really well in terms of us being a top 4 sides. But understanding that things are probably catching up with us a little bit, but again, there's no excuses our end for what we put out there, and it is a reflection on what we're trying to coach and not coming through. So it's a low in that respect, but also for the players, again, I suppose it doesn't reflect what the perceived ability is there, so they've got to be part of that low feeling as well, and it's a collective that we've got to work our way through for the hardcore fans who are there on the weekend, to actually show that we can actually do more from a tactical, technical point of view, but also clearly from, I think, just an effort and a physical point of view. I've seen games where perhaps we've been outthought on a few occasions in the past, but I've never seen periods where we've been outmuscled as well, and just around the contact area, people like Callum Gibbons, we're just getting schooled on certain things, and that's not an Osprey side that I've seen.
On that, you say it is a collective effort, clearly. Players and coaches have to take responsibility. I think Steve on the weekend said you are going to face questions about your own futures as well. Does that weigh on your mind at all?
It does to a certain degree, you can't lie, but generally all that effort in terms of making it better, you just you go in late to the night, early mornings, we are doing our damnedest to try and pull the situation around. Lots of little small conversations, lots of big meetings, lots of reviews, and sometimes probably there's periods around this block we probably overdo it as well. You know, sometimes you've got to strip back what's valuable, what the players need, and the temptation is always to overcoach, because we've always worked our way through any different scenario in the past, and been reasonably successful with the amount of messages we've put out there. You've got to actually just trying to work out what is going to transmit good quality specific information to turn the situation around.
What feedback are you getting from the players?
More and more, I think we've got to put more on them. I think I spoke about the decision making we're asking of players, and again I've talked about the coaching and linking to the last few years around clear specific messages that players have gone on there understanding fully what's expected of them and delivered for a lot of that. But you get to a point, and this might be me reflecting on my own coaching. I think the way professional coaching is nowadays, the way Welsh rugby is around the pathway, I don't know if we're doing too much for players. We're giving them all the answers, and you get to a point, even early in the last two games, Edinburgh were leading, Glasgow on the weekend, we could be 10-0 up if Hano finishes in the corner. And when it's rhythmic, it's coached, it looks fine, but the question's got to be asked, and this comes back on us as coaches, and make no doubt about that, about how you then coach players to be effective problem solvers, leadership. And so there's strands of that which reflect your environment, also how you train. But I think there's definitely something in how we're developing players through Welsh rugby for a period of time, and us probably overcoaching sometimes. It's the balance which I'm wrestling with a bit at the moment.
Do you think the players are still on board with you guys as coaches?
Yeah, I generally think so, in terms of way we're reviewing and way we're holding players to account, they're holding us to account in a few things, and they're holding each other to account. That's growing more and more prevalent. I think there's still probably sometimes a bit too much shyness or nervousness about really saying what's out there. And I think again around us at this moment in time, rugby in general has got to be a bit more upfront and clear. And then I think you get a team that may be on the field that can bark and shout and really get into each other without being overly hurtful. I mean, it's not personal. It's actually doing what the team needs, and how you don't just rely on 2 or 3 players. And I feel for someone like Sam Davis, who's trying to organise all and everything at the moment in and around him, and then you've got a lack of voice and clarity outside of him, inside of him as well. Not so much the 9, but how we collect the backs and forwards together. It's a mixture which again doesn't reflect well on us in this moment in time, but how we challenge players and how they've got to keep challenging us as well.
Yeah, I didn't see you last game. I saw the Edinburgh game. You were on top of that game, but I can understand the capitulation with defence, and now you can see 47 points against Glasgow. Well, how big an issue and a concern is the defence? It's better off any team stop the opposition scoring.
Yeah, there's the rightly questions asked, and players asking questions of us and themselves. So there's a few little things that are going to come big for us about how we can not give Jason Turvey, Adam Hastings an armchair ride, and we've done that the last couple of games around allowing speed of ball and easy defensive space to pass into or to run into. That's got to be taken away. But it probably goes back to, again, my end where we're culpable. You've got to be smart both sides of the ball, and both Glasgow games this year we've given them soft tries, and we're not in any way, shape or form in these examples a tough side to beat. So an easy fix is to say to kick more. You've probably got to be smart in how you set up to kick, who kicks as well, not just on again our 10 trying to do all and everything. As a team, where's the balance from our centres, our back 3, and complementing again in the past where we've been pretty accurate and good tactical side.
Griff, what about your own future? Any contracts at the end of the season? Do you want to stay on here? Do you thinking of what's your thoughts?
I'll clarify that over the next couple of weeks or so, really. But generally, at this moment in time, and over the last few weeks or so, I have been immersed over 100% around trying to work our way through this, and that's I think the people above me, the supporters who watch us, the players deserve nothing less. And I know that'll sound a cheesy answer. It is about here and now and trying to work our way through so many different strands of the work and so many different strands of the individual development within the work. So it's not fair for me to talk about me. I think it is about what the Ospreys.
Going into the weekend, what are the main injury problems?
Reasonably healthy, I think. It was nice to see 2 wingers come through last weekend, and that was, talk about positives at the start. I enjoyed the bustle and the power on the field there. Correct me if I'm wrong, what have we put out there, Pete? Yeah, Paul, maybe a slight doubt for the weekend. Tom Haberfield going through HIA, but positive signs there that I think he's near completion of level 3, or third stage, and again beyond that. No, he came in yesterday to see our medical team. So we hope for, obviously, for positive reports come Northampton there, but again it's this moment in time and this group of players that I don't know. No,
same injury, I think, is pretty good, is it?
different quad, I think.
Isn't it?
Yeah, so within that 10 minutes, it was an interesting thing.
It's a heavy run, this, isn't it? Munster, Northampton, Scarlets. What are your thoughts?
You've got to see it as a great challenge, and I think you can never forget, even though I think it's sometimes easy just to go week to week and it can almost feel like this is your schedule and this, that and the other, but it's the magic of the environment we should be in and the privilege we've got to do what we do about going to top-end European sides. Munster will be a challenge because the calendar presents challenges for us with the 40th International, but it's what it is. They've got a few bumps and bruises themselves and they'll be looking at Europe round the corner. We've had 2 contrasting games in Cork the last 2 years. 2 years ago we went there and talk about a smart rugby game, but a game in their half that was played with real speed and panache, and we went there and won. Last year we were tactically naive and probably assumed too much and put ourselves on the back foot too easy around some of the kick and aerial battles, and they were pure Munster in a comprehensive defeat last year. So those 2 games between them offer the template of what we've got to try and put in the park in a positive way and try to take away some of their strengths as well.